as the parade was going, there was a report yesterday that Steve Spagnuolo is getting a contract extension. No details released on that yet, but Spags became the first coordinator to win 4 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator, 3 with Kansas City, and 1 when he beat the Tom Brady 18-0 Giants in the Super Bowl. So obviously well-earned, well-deserved. The defense was phenomenal this year. Without the defense playing the way they did, this team was not – there's an argument can be made, probably not in the playoffs. But nonetheless, that defense came alive all year long. Even week 1, when we didn't have Chris Jones, defense played really well against the Detroit Lions. Like, wait, yeah. can we actually – I mean, that was a question of that game. Are the Lions legit or the Chiefs legit? What's going on here? And, yeah, we saw the Chiefs defense legit all throughout the season, outplayed. They're even the number 1 rated defense in that last game, in the AFC Championship game. So, yeah, Spagnuolo earned it. I don't know how many years it's for. He got a lot of attention this past week from Tyreek Hill, other players. Actually, his old the Rams COO, I believe, or one of the front office guys who Spagnuolo was the head coach of the Rams for a little bit, and he I forgot the guy who said it, but he said essentially that Spags should get another job opportunity to be a head coach somewhere. Now, I don't know if that's something he wants to do. I think he might have said a little bit that he wouldn't mind doing it again. But his wife literally just moved to Kansas City. She's been, I think she was in New York or Philadelphia for the last 2 years, and then she finally moved to Kansas City. So, yeah, I think Spags more than deserved it. I think everybody in the defense loves him. Chris Jones loves him. Justin Reed loves him. Everybody in the team loves him. I was watching one of those behind the scenes shows from the Super Bowl, and it's just great because the stuff he was telling the defenders, obviously scheme and all that stuff, but he talks to them like real guys, and obviously these coaches all do. But it was right after the Niners scored their touchdown, the throwback with Jennings threw the pass. He goes to the group on the sidelines with Chris Jones rallying them, trying to talk to them. His guys, they had to do his trick play to score on us. They had to do a trick play to score on us. So that's what's happening here. And I was like, yeah, it's exactly what we were saying when we were watching that. But thoughts on Spagnuolo getting a contract extension? Are you obviously happy about that? What are your thoughts on that?
Great move to get it done so early. First off, do we already have an A for the offseason? I think so. Yeah. Early A. It's the first week of school. Yeah, you got an A still. It shows me that the Chiefs have their priorities straight. You can make an argument that Spags is our 3rd highest free agent priority behind Sneed and Jones. I'm a big fan of Trent and Edwards, but if you're talking about overall impact of the game itself, Spags is number 3 to me behind those guys. The beauty is he doesn't count against the cap, so it's even better, right? You just locked in one of the most important defensive pieces without even counting against the cap. Coaching continuity is so important, and in case we do lose a piece like Sneed or Jones, it makes me feel good to know Spags would still be here to help the defense keep playing the way it is going forward, because I think what his most impressive, as great as the defense was this year, I think last year was more impressive because of the amount of young players and rookies he had. Yeah, we're still, I think, the youngest defense in the league, but they were babies last year, and he coached them to play that way, which in Veach's mind it's a blank check, because it's so I know I can give you a bunch of baby-faced rookies, and you're going to put a good product out there and have a good defense on the field. So with the many years of Mahomes' big cap number, that would make Spags even more important to make up for that loss of the money that we're spending on Mahomes. And we're going to have to, pinch some pennies on defense over the next 10 years or so, 12 years or so. So as long as Spags can stay here making up for those losses, because if you were to tell me we lose Sneed or Jones and we lost Spags, I would be way more worried going to the offseason. But, with the young players we have and drafting on the way we talked about before was Veach, and with the coaching continuity we have in Spags controlling the defense, it makes me worry less about losing players here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really good point that he was one of the higher priorities on of our offseason checklist. I didn't even know he's a free agent, to be quite honest with you. So there was contract was coming up. But yeah, to lock him in also too, you could just say Super Bowl, not that we would have fired Spags if we had lost, because he did such a phenomenal job, but I'm just saying, look at the Super Bowl matchup. You have the Chiefs, you have the 49ers. Niners lose, and they played a pretty good, solid defensive game against us. They had a really good game playing against us. They fired the DC 2 days later. I mean, there's levels to this, guys. I mean, like, you know, we're back to back for a reason. We have a great front office for a reason. We have a great coaching staff for a reason. And like, you have teams that are getting a team that gets the NFC Championship every year. I know their DC gets poached like every year. It was D'Amico Ryans, Saleh every year, but then Wilkes, not bad defense. I mean, that was a pretty solid defense for them. They play a really good game in the Super Bowl. They win that Super Bowl. Wilkes is not getting fired 2 days afterwards. They lose that Super Bowl, obviously, and Wilkes gets fired. And meanwhile, us, on the other hand, we're giving Spags a contract extension. I don't know how much it was, but giving the bag to Spags, I'm all for it.
I also want to ask a question, too. Is Spags the GOAT?
Greatest defensive coordinator of all time. I mean, he's got the most rings. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Also, who did he beat with the Giants?
Probably one of the best teams of all time.
So if you win as many of you won with the Chiefs and 2 in a row, so that's historical, and 3 in a row will be historical, and you beat the best team of all time, and you beat the GOAT at the greatest stage possible, why would you not? I think that's actually one of the more slam dunk cases I've seen ever. Whoever beat Brady in that one, I mean, look, I know Eli Manning's not called the GOAT, but Eli Manning in a lot of ways didn't beat Brady. Spagnuolo beat Brady, right? Yeah. So, you know, a guy who had Brady's number and who's winning with the youngest defense in the league 2 years in a row, I don't even think it's a question. I think he's the greatest defensive coordinator of all time.
Yeah, and that's it's funny because no one actually ever thinks about the coordinators being like up there as far as the rankings wise. But yeah, looking at that body of work, when I saw that, you know, he has the most rings for a defensive coordinator of all time. Yeah, I mean, that's it. There's no that you at that point you got to kind of show the parallels there. It's like, okay, we had Bob Sutton, not an awful defense. We were opportunistic defense, but we were. I mean, it was pretty. There was times where it was really rough. Opportunistic, you know, relied on turnovers. This defense doesn't really rely on turnovers. Our turnover differential is not good. However, we dominate literally every other thing. We don't really need turnovers. We're getting 3 and out. Get all the field. I mean, we don't really need turnovers. I mean, so that was that's the interesting thing about this defense. But go from Bob Sutton to Spags, we start winning. So I mean, is that not a coincidence anymore? 3 rings now, not a coincidence. From Bob Sutton to Spags, huge upgrade. I know there was a lot of people who wanted Rex Ryan. We got Spags. A lot of people were upset by that. Hopefully, those people who are mad about that, hopefully they feel good. All right.
I hope so.
With Spags. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.